and welcome to another Doctor Who 4 figure review. Today, as you can see, I'm reviewing probably one of my favourite figures to date, and that is the Revenge of the Cybermen collector's set. This basically features the, well, 3 Cybermen and a Cybermat from the 1975 season 12 story, Revenge of the Cybermen, featuring Tom Baker as the Doctor. This set, I'm not sure exactly when it was released, but I think it was released in, well, last year, in 2010, as new classic series set range whatever thing, by Character Options. So, let's get down to just quickly looking at the packaging. As you can see, there are 4 posable action figures, new BBC logo, so we know it's pretty recent. That's sort of my judgment, and it only sort of appeared last year. You've got a picture of a normal Cyberman at the side, and the Cyber Leader at the other side. And the set includes 1 Revenge Cyber Leader, 2 Revenge Cybermen, and 1 Cybermat. The old Doctor Who logo, and it says the Revenge of the Cybermen collector's set down here. You've also got a Character Options logo, and it's sort of in an overly kind of case. Now, I'm just sort of hiding it for the moment, but in a minute I'm going to move just to my right. They've made one hell of a mistake here. It says the 4th Doctor 1979 to 1981. It even says it on the top of the box, up there, where it just repeats it. That is probably one of the worst things I think I've ever seen on a box. Usually they're absolutely brilliant and all the information they give is, you know, correct. But this time they've made a mistake. You know, understandably they've made a mistake, but it's one heck of a mistake. They've got the era that the 4th Doctor Tom Baker played the Doctor really, really wrong. They haven't even said 1975 to 81, which is just about understandable, because he only spent like 1 episode, and that's Robot, episode 1, that he spent in 1974, and just so happens that the very last few seconds of Planet of the Spiders. But, you know, that's 5 years out, which is rather bad. Moving on to the back, just briefly. Oh, one thing I can just say is that the background you see just behind the set is actually sort of the arc, you know, the base thing that it's all set in, and it's actually quite nice. And if you keep that, it's very useful for figure adventures, which you may see, or at least a figure recreation you may see, using that background that I'll keep. The figures are just quite nicely arranged in there, and it's just a shame about making that one heck of a bad mistake. So, just moving on to the back briefly, gives you information about the Revenge of the Cybermen. The 4th Doctor arrives on Nerva Beacon, but thousands of years earlier than his previous visit. The station is currently part of a space traffic control system warning travellers about a new planetoid orbiting Jupiter. And there's more to read. I won't read you a whole lot, because then this video is going to take ages, and I won't actually get onto the review. It just tells you more about what it includes. Exactly the same again. Nice picture of Tom Baker and a Cyberman behind him. Quite a common picture. And at least this time they have got 4th Doctor dates right, as they usually do on all figure sets. But it is a very big shame that it's on the front. This is a very nice figure, very well articulated for a Cyberman. It has lots of tubing. First of all, the head moves slightly, but it's hindered by its odd shape, ovular shape, of the neck and the tubes that you have at the side there. The tubes themselves are very, very detailed, and are truly brilliant actually, and it looks, apart from the articulation joints, it looks exactly like the cyber leader from the programme. You've got the gun at the top, and you've got the nice tubey looking, rather than just plain bars that you have in Invasion. You actually have proper tubey bars, and they've replaced them. They haven't just, you know, redone them. You've got tubey things at the side, and that's not, you know, the elbow joint, and the tubes don't hinder the joint that you can have with them. They do turn out slightly oddly there, just sort of so that the elbow seems to bend out a little bit too much. They do have articulation at in the upper arm, but it's hindered a bit by the tube. The tube's quite bendy and flexible. You've got articulation at the shoulder, but no, it doesn't go in and out. They probably were thinking that at first, but because of this tubey thing, of course it does hinder articulation a bit. You've got articulation at the wrists. Hang on, there we are. Their hands are in a bit of an odd position, but that's to look as though they're grabbing something, and they don't necessarily hold anything, so there's no reason for the hands to be moulded in a certain way. You've got nice sort of metallic looking, you've got tubey looking thing, as though they've had some sort of yogurt pot put over it, like they probably did, and this sort of tin foil look is quite smooth, like in the actual episodes. Moving further down, you've got articulation at the waist. It's a bit stiff to begin with. You might need to break it in a bit, but it is there. And they have actually split the tube so that you can actually move it at the waist for a full 360. You've got articulation at the hips, which move in, out and all about. Do the hokey pokey and you turn around. That's what it's all about. Oh no, I'm going to stop now. You've got articulation at the knees, and you've got it slightly at the feet. Not very much because they're hindered by the trousers. Yes, Cybermen wore trousers, and yeah, that's a little weird and very 70s. Seems to be coming out, I don't know, really. The tubes have got very, very nice, very well detailed. Oops, oh, I apologise about that. Very unsteady camera. It's very, very nicely sculpted, and they have it is a re-sculpt of the Invasion figure. I'm not too sure if they've actually taken certain aspects. The main bit of the head, the face bit of the head, is probably the same, but it looks like a completely new figure. As of course I haven't got the Invasion figure, but you look at the Invasion figure and the legs are very simple and narrow compared to these, where they're probably wearing some silver trousers. The feet, the actual sort of boots that they have, are very detailed, and actually look like the boots that they wear. You've got a nice sort of control panel, if I just move the camera forward, which is very detailed, and is, you know, very, very realistic to the actual Cyberman. Of course, basically it's exactly the same figure, it's just been painted. All figures have exactly the same articulation. They're very well detailed, and very well articulated, and a very, very nice figure to have to your collection. This is basically a lump of plastic moulded into a Cyberman shape. Quite nice. Probably wanted two, so that you can have several festering and eating away. I'd have also probably wanted more than two other Cybermen. I'd have probably wanted, yeah, that figure's alright, another Cyberman to go with the set. because there are actually more than 2 Cybermen. But, you know, this set only cost me, I think, £20, so, you know, there's gonna be a certain, you know, I'd personally, if I'd got another figure, another Cyberman figure, I'd have quite happily paid, you know, £27, but, or £30, but the point is, you know, at least you get multiple Cybermen, rather than, you know, in some sets where you only get sort of 2 figures and you're a little disappointed. But yeah, that's a very nice set. If you're a collector, I definitely recommend getting it, as they're very well detailed, well articulated, and they're very realistic. However, if you intend to keep them in the box, you know, I don't know, what you might have a box, I might have a misprint box, you never know, but if you intend to keep them in the box, it might be rather amusing, with the wrong dates on Tom Baker's, you know, his era dates. That's rather amusing. But yeah, and for people like me who do figure adventure stories and scene recreations and just generally as a toy, they're absolutely brilliant because they're well articulated for what they look like. They look like proper Cybermen, they feel like mini versions of the Cybermen, which is quite nice. And even if you're not a new series lover, they are very good Cybermen. And they, you know, obviously they have that traditional look about Cybermen, and they're not like the 80s Cybermen where they have loads and loads of things about them. I'm really happy that I've got this set, and I hope if you get the set you're quite happy. Yeah, the 80s Cybermen seem to be a bit too fiddly, and these are quite plain and simple, but have got quite a lot of cyber stuff about them. Of course, these are the only 70s Cybermen that ever exist, actually, so that's quite a nice thing to have. And they look absolutely brilliant among other Cybermen and other figures. So I hope you enjoyed this review. I hope you found the review helpful. So thanks for watching, and that's bye bye from Doctor Who 4.